I just want to say a few words on the Roderic O'Gorman video of two members of the public, I believe, going and asking him some questions. He's in the public street, so there's that. It's not just particularly about Roderic O'Gorman, but about politicians in general. And I'll just use Roderic as an example here because it's the most present one, I suppose. But Roderic O'Gorman took it upon himself to accept the role of the Minister for Children, Integration and Youth and all the rest of that lovely stuff. Which means he put himself in a position to serve the public in overseeing the legislation and the effective care of children in the country and children in state care. He's also getting paid from the public to fulfill that role, which means he's a job to do, which is keeping children safe to the best of his ability, to the best of his administrative ability. You know? So what happens when he's not fulfilling that role? When he's not meeting the standards that the public, his employers, have set for him or expect of him? You would imagine that those in the government as well would oversee him, have a look at him, see if he's been effective in his role or not, and if not, then ask him to step down or step aside or to put forward a predecessor or a successor, sorry, even. But that's not happening. There are, under Roderic's watch, children in state care going missing, children in state care reporting that they're being trafficked around to be sexually abused, to be raped by groups of men, possibly women, not sure. We don't know, because there's no questions being answered. They're certainly being asked, but they're not being answered. You see Pater Tobin and the Dáil bring this up, and Micheál Martin kind of poo-poo it, kind of saying, sure, look, kids go missing. What can you do, kind of an attitude. That's not good enough. So Roderic, he's certainly benefiting financially from his role. He is shown a complete disregard for the members of the public when they come and question him. I've seen nobody harass him or abuse him publicly. I've seen nobody threaten him. I've seen nobody ask or act in any other way other than civil, slightly frustrated, reasonably so, and persistent in their asking of questions and demanding of answers from him. And what does he do? Instead of taking 2 minutes, take the same time that it would take you to walk away and be silent. Stand there for 2 minutes and give an answer. Surely if you're comfortable and you're confident in the duty you're performing for the public, you'd be able to stand aside and take a bit of your own time and answer these people's questions. Show them what you're doing, to demonstrate, hopefully, that you're being efficient in your role. But he doesn't do that. They don't do that. They continue to treat people as if they are not worthy of a response. They just walk away from people. They don't even acknowledge them. They don't say, would you like to call to the office? Or would you like to sit down for a coffee somewhere and I'll give you some answers? Would you like to ring my secretary and make an appointment? If the public street is what the issue is. If you don't want to speak publicly on the side of the street, make an appointment in your office somewhere. Go and sit down with people. But you're not doing that. You're not doing that. You're turning a blind eye to them. You are walking away from them and you're ignoring them. And what you're seeing now as well is people defending this sort of attitude, or protecting these government politicians, servants of the people, by saying that they should be able to walk down the street and not have questions asked of them. People are considering this, the average man asking these politicians questions, as a harassment. But there's no guards being called. There's no guards being called. There's no laws being broken. These are public servants in public places being asked questions by the public, who publicly fund these people out of their own taxes. taxes that are taken off, but that's besides the point. So it's really unfortunate like that, considering the last 2-3 decades that we've had with the abuse within the church of Irish children, Irish people. The attitudes that the priests used to have with people, that members of the public would have to step off the footpaths if these priests or nuns are coming past. You're seeing that again. And people are gung-ho going, driving the spike into the heart of the church over this sort of abuse, and wondering how could they get away with it. They could get away with it because people are protecting them. People were protecting them. People were saying, you can't be saying that about priests. Priests are good people, they're God people. You see the same deification of these politicians now, or these experts. How dare you go and ask these people, try and hold these people accountable for their actions. And it's interesting as well, because you see some of the responses, these politicians are just human beings like the rest of us. They're entitled to be able to walk the streets and not be harassed. They're entitled to their privacy. Okay, a bit of empathy there. But there's no empathy for the children, or for the people's lives who are being absolutely destroyed by these politicians. And you can't have a two-tier system where my house and my life is able to be destroyed and railroaded by these politicians, where their actions and decisions directly impact and cross my front door. But I'm not allowed to ask them questions in public, or I'm not allowed to see, like, if they're coming out of their home and I happen to be around, no one is allowed to ask these people questions. Really? There's something very, 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 very wrong with that. And it's an attitude of a slave and a totally dependent and subservient person to look at people who are obliterating their own people and abusing the power that they have. And to be able to say, not allowed to do that with them. Can't ask them any questions. You need to follow the proper procedures. Which are what, I ask you? What rules do you expect people to play by? When their home is being destroyed, their money is being taken, they're left in the same standard of living, even though everything else is increasing and becoming more and more expensive. What rules do you expect people to continue to play by? They're already not breaking any rules, but do you want more rules imposed to protect a certain class of people in society? So that's what it seems to be to me. Why would you want to do that? To gag your own people when they're asking absolutely legitimate questions. This man, again, I hold them all accountable because they're not calling them out either. This man, not only are children going missing on his watch, but when he's shown evidence of this, he deletes it. He hides it. So I ask you again, what rules do you expect people to play by? When the politicians don't adhere to the same rules, their actions and their decisions impact everyone. But they're not allowed to be impacted. They're not allowed to be held accountable. Not good enough. Not good enough. Because if you're trying to protect people that way, I hold you accountable as well. You're allowing this to continue. You're trying to protect these people who are overseeing the trafficking of children in Ireland. Yet again. Yet again. Kiss the Pope's ring. Just changed hands is all. The same systems in place.